Hey guys, Andy here. Wanted to show off a water aggro deck because we don't really have a lot of water content on the channel that's not activating Reasoning or Monster Gate.
That's crazy.
Did not really have a lot of confidence that certain builds will always be at the top tables, but you have to try to show off some builds. So this one's the water aggro build, which is just trying to focus on the consistency of what water can do well. The only tribute monster is Mobius because it's a water, it hits for 26, and it's pretty much clearing everything. And when I say that, clearing the back row for an aggro deck is huge. It's something you would want to play in an aggro deck even if it wasn't water, but giving it 26 off the field spell is really, really nice. Speaking of the field spell being really nice, 1850 is just a huge stat line on its own, and getting up to 2050 with the field spell lets it clear defense position spy, defense position Chaos Sorcerer, just a lot of random things where the 2000 threshold is very, very surprisingly stacked in this environment, so being able to just play a 2050 stick, or even if it's not and it's just an 1850, it gets really, really safe into a lot of board states. Clearing Kaikus is a big one too. After the Ocean boost, even in defense mode, after like Tsukiyomi, it's 1200 defense, so it's still not easily outed. So just kind of makes one of the main weaknesses of aggro not be as blatantly problematic. To Abyss Soldier, the main reason why this deck is actually nuts, because priority removal of any card on the field is nuts. And also just a stat line that's not punished by Tsukiyomi immediately. Even without Ocean, it's just really, really solid. 2, Lekunga, which is the card that everyone had to read today. This is a potential thing that you can declare priority on. To banish 2 waters to summon a token, and it's not once per turn, but you just have to have enough waters in grave, and thankfully, Mother Grizzly is a really great way to just cycle waters out of your deck by just crashing into something if you need to, or even just having Ocean making the token 900, so you can just keep applying a lot of pressure on open boards, or just having extra bodies on board that can be tribute fodder for the Mobius. The amount of times today where people just were not respecting the token because it would just get sacked off for Mobius was actually nuts. So, yeah, Lekunga being 17 on its own, 19 with field spell means it's still clearing a lot of the 1600 benchmarks, like Breaker without counter, Tribe Infecting Virus with or without field spell up, because they're both waters, but this is 100 baseline higher, so that does come up. Grizzly, and because we're on a Grizzly option here, we do have some low attack waters to be able to float into off of it. Mermaid Knight on simplified board states because it's kind of like a gimmicky variant of a Injection Fairy Lily of sorts. Direct attacking twice with 17, it's 34. It's the same concept that Fairy Lily can have, but it's dependent on having the field spell, which can be a little awkward, so 1 is fine. It's 1500, which is the biggest thing that you can float into off Grizzly inherently. Or Grizzly trading into something and being able to actually kill what it fights is going to get you to Yomi Ship. Or just getting to the usual Swiss Army knife card, Sinister Serpent, serving as the infinite water discard fodder for Abyss Soldier, so being able to recruit the side of your deck does matter quite a bit. And then the last water is the one of Tribe Infecting Virus, because 16's good, 18's even better. I don't really know if I need to explain Tribe in a water deck. And the only non-water monsters are Sangan and Breaker, just general utility. Searching Grizzly's good, searching Serpent's good. I mean, if you're playing this environment, you're pretty well aware that Sangan's going to be in most things, unless it's like hard aggro decks. And Breaker is still Breaker, so you should still be playing it. For the spells, 3 field spell, you can make an argument to play 2 field spell and a terraforming. It's just down to grind game and how many times you can get smashed out of your hand with Delinquent Duo and those sorts of things. So 3 Ocean or 2 in a terraforming, either way is fine. 2 Noblemen across out, because flips are everywhere. You're playing an aggro deck, you want to kill stuff. Just actually apply immediate pressure. Addition to Faith can absolutely ruin you. Charity, Pot of Greed, Duo, the typical Trinity, Heavy, MST for general backer removal, Snatch, Pre-Mat, this is one of the few decks where I'd say like premature can get really, really silly. Just being able to like pre-mat bring back like a Grizzly, and especially post-side when you side into Giant Tornado, sometimes being able to just reborn a Recruiter, bounce back the Burial with Tornado, and then being able to fire it off again, cycling through the Grizzlies to make sure you have Lekunga food is nice. And the last spell is a 1-of Smashing Ground. You can make an argument for playing more of them. I just personally never really found that this was the reason I was losing was because I was behind on spot removal. I just need to draw monsters more often, so 1 was fine, especially because the importance of finding anything to play the game in your aggro deck is just cycling. You can make an argument for Upstart Goblin as well, but something had to get cut for some of the other options in the deck, which at some point during testing I wanted to play Mobius in the main deck, and the 2 Upstarts getting taken out for the 2 Mobius was the easiest way to make the math still work, and not give your opponent life points when you're just trying to kill them with repeated direct hits. 2 Dust Shoots, I side the 3rd for going first. Like, obviously this card's nuts for the advantage, or just the hand knowledge. Not really much else to say. It's better going first, of course, but it's still not bad going second. And then the trap lineup that rounds it out is just the power 1-ofs that you would expect for most decks of the format. So that's the main deck. Side deck, probably a little bit less inspired, but 3 Kaiku, because everything's chaos related, and some matchups you just need an 1800 stick, so this is just the universal pick that you can put into most matchups. 2 Wanghu for like the other Recruiter decks that aren't the Mirror or just general.
Am I gonna have lands either?
Was the other big matchup. Like, most of it was for Recruiter matchups. Some of it's for like flip heavy matchups and whatnot. Just making sure that you don't get scapegoat tokens blocking you from getting your aggro deck to do its aggro thing. 3 Book of Moons because Jinzo's a pain in the butt. Sometimes you need to answer those, sometimes you need to answer Thousand Eyes, sometimes you need to answer opponent's Haikus, preventing you from banishing stuff to summon your Lekunga tokens. Giant Tornades because I don't want to just lose to my opponent having a bunch of like gravity binds, level limit area Bs, all the stuff that says I can't attack. I'm playing an aggro deck, I want to kill. So having this for those matchups, the burn matchups as well, is important. Mystic Walk because we respect burn as a matchup, even though we don't like playing against it. We just acknowledge that it's a part of the game. On rare occasions, people might take you close to time limit and you tell them to stop doing that. And triple Sakuretsu armor because when you're playing against aggro mirrors, it just ends up becoming how many times can you 1-for-1 trade with your opponent efficiently. And Sakuretsu is just saying, hey, I have my 1850 vanilla in Yagagigo. I would really appreciate it if Earth aggro warriors, whatever, don't just summon a Gigantes and kill it.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You leave my...
These types of options end up being much more efficient than Book of Moon, requiring you to still have a body stick through their back row and all that too. So that's the deck. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace!
That's crazy, Fraudulent.